Sigh. Peace, love, and fam. Let me try to fix the screen. I don't want it this way. It's difficult for me since I don't have my stabilizer, so bear with me. I need to get the screen to rotate. Okay. I'm, I'm probably not going to be able to fix it. Okay. All right. Peace, fam. I guess I can't fix it, so I guess it's gonna have to like stay this way. Um, yeah, I know it's been a while. Let me see here. Andrew Barry, peace. Hello, welcome. Penelope's people. Hey sis, Grand Rising. How have you been? Been a while. Are you still in Mexico? Yeah, I know it's been a while. First of all, welcome. Um, yeah, no, we are not in Mexico at the moment. Um, so we're back in America, on our side, okay? Um, I'm not gonna claim US territory, but essentially you guys know it as US territory. But that's changing. So yeah, it's been, I would say, in a matter of a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, it would be 2 years since we came back to home on this side. Um, and I honestly thought that I would feel really weird and out of place, but that's not the case. That is not the case. We've been quite um, pleased to be back for the time that we are back. It has been way too long since I have seen my family, and so soon I will take a trip to the District of Columbia, which is where I'm from, otherwise known as Chocolate City, DC. So I will take a trip there soon to see my fam because they have all expressed how much they miss my son and I. And it really has been such a long time. So I'm really like looking forward to seeing them and spending some time with them. But yeah, we had just gotten in from the Mexico side. I look at this as all one land, you guys, okay? I know that it was split up by the colonizer, but I still view it as one land. So Mexico is the same, as this side. And so that's how I'm going to always view it. So yeah, we're in a Mexa, okay, still, but we're on the other side. Um, and while we were on the Mexico side, um, enjoyed our time thoroughly. The people so beautiful for the most part, so beautiful to us. And I was just so grateful. However, they're going through their time now with this whole pandemic. Okay. Um, and those who view this channel and you are totally invested in the illusion that this was an actual pandemic, okay, and unplanned, please just don't participate on my channel. I just please don't, because I really am just going to block you at this juncture. I just get really tired of it. Like this information there's enough of it out there for people to put the puzzle together and see the truth. And if you're just one of those that refuse to acknowledge the truth, then this channel really is not for you. And so I would encourage you to please just move on to other channels um, that suit your beliefs. Okay, so with that being said, they're going under, they're having their time right now with the whole pandemic and where muzzles are imposed and even when you're outside. I mean, it's just crazy. And that's just not something that I'm going to subjugate myself to. And so we're back on this side because we have to see the consulate for our next journey, which I'm really excited about. And I'm not going to talk about it in depth right now. I'm just not. Once we get there, of course, once I feel like sharing where we are, I will do so. So that's why we had to come back on this side, because we have to see the consulate. But while we're on this side, there's work to be done. And so we're here to do a work, not just enjoy and spend time with our families, but we have an agenda. While we're here, we have things that we have to do to build a self-sustainable life that we want to have. And that can happen in multiple places. It doesn't just have to be one place. This is home as well at the end of the day. And so if I'm going to build in other places, I would also have to include the place that I was born and reared in. So yeah, so we feel really good where we are. No mandates. So big ups to all of the lands, okay, that have said no to pushing this pandemic. Big ups, continue forward. So yeah, so we're here and we're having a lovely time. So, yeah, that's pretty much the update. We're getting ready to go out and have some fresh air and take care of some business. But I will be coming back and talking more in depth about what I see here, in America, just having a different perspective coming from abroad for being gone for nearly 2 years abroad, and just coming back and go more in depth about how we feel and what we see and what the energy is here. So I'll talk more in depth about that at a latter time in the near future. So yeah, the next place that we're going, there are a lot of steps. There are a lot of steps. And so we're just here making sure that we get all of our, ducks in a row and our paperwork, in order. I was reached out to by a couple of people still about, these are those people that have never traveled abroad, and particularly to the continent. And I'm realizing that people just really don't really know what to do or where to start. And I didn't expect that to be the case. As you know, my son and I had not traveled anywhere outside of the country or the Americas prior to our first time going to Tanzania. And so we did have a contact there at the time that was able to arrange, picking up from the airport. So I'm starting to see, like, if I didn't have that contact, like where people are coming from, and just kind of feeling like a fish out of water, and why they may need some guidance. And so I'm just going to post this here. First of all, I want to congratulate anyone who has mustered up the courage and to step outside of their comfort zone and travel to a foreign land, or a land that may be foreign to them, or travel to other lands, that they have never traveled to before. It takes courage, to do that. And so I want to acknowledge your courage. As it relates to travel to Tanzania or any other land, first, it's important to do your own research. Please do your own research. It's wonderful living vicariously through others, but it is a necessity for you to do your own research and fact check what you're hearing on the videos. Things are changing so rapidly now that it is imperative that you do your research prior to your trip. They're changing things left and right. Okay. So, what I may have said or what someone else may have said maybe some months ago, it may not be true when you are preparing to go on your trip. So, this is why it's imperative for you to do your own research. What do I mean by doing your own research? Finding out what the requirements are for you to travel in that country or to that country. Okay. So the visa requirements, everyone does not have the same passport. Some people have don't need a visa to travel to a certain land. So first of all, find out if you require a visa, and if you do, what that process is. Find out if they allow you to obtain the visa online or if they offer it upon arrival. Make sure that you are checking the rates or the fees for that particular visa, and make sure that you have that amount with you, in the currency that is accepted in that particular land. Okay. And so once you've gotten, the whole visa thing out of the way, and first of all, just before the whole visa and all of that, it is my hope that you have done extensive research on the land that you want to travel to. That's number one. And so once you've done that and you found out about the visa process and you've gotten that taken care of, then you want to find out about the travel requirements according to the airline that you will be flying on. Okay. Each airline has their own rules and their own regulations. Okay. For those who inquired about, again, the mask exemption that my son and I were able to fly on, each airline has their own mask exemption policy and requirements. And so you would have to do your research and find out what they require, what type of form they require, if your physician has to fill it out, if it has to include his stamp, if it has to include his licensing credentials. Like, some airlines are really just going way overboard, okay, with their requirements. And so, I always like to travel with the airlines that do not go, that do not require too much in-depth information. So, find that out, okay, if you're wanting to travel without having your mask. Yeah, luggage is changing. We found that out through our recent travels. It's like before, when we traveled, it was an automatic that your luggage was like included, at least your carry-on and then your two check-ins. And now what I'm finding is that a lot of airlines, if you're just doing like a basic economy ticket, that they are not including that. Okay. They're not including all of your two check luggages. So, excuse me, we're finding that they're charging extra for according to how much baggage or luggage that you have. And I'm talking about just the standard, most people travel with one carry-on and then like two check-ins. Of course, above that, there's always been fees and charges, but the two check-ins are no longer a guaranteed, are no longer covered, okay, or guaranteed. That is what we are finding in our travels. And so it's important to make sure that when you are booking your ticket, that you are very clear and that you take a picture of what you were told about the fees concerning your baggage and your luggage. Because we had a situation where the website showed us one thing, and then when we got to the counter, they charged us something totally different. And I did not have proof because I did not take a picture that time. So it's really important. So a lot of the airlines are starting to charge now for anything. Sometimes they charge for your first check bag. We saw that. And case in point, like Aeromexico, okay, they charged for both of our carry-ons. So if you can pack light. In our case, we could not because we were literally transitioning from the continent of Africa to another continent. And so, we did pretty well. Again, we came there with the same amount of luggage. We left there with the same amount of luggage that we came there with. So we had about two check-ins and then one carry-on each. The two check-ins for my son and myself were not included via Aero Mexico. So we had to pay for them, and it was a pretty hefty fee. So make sure that you're checking the luggage fees and the luggage allowances. Now, oftentimes, of course, if you get a ticket for a higher price, then they'll start including more of your luggage in that price. Okay, but you'll have to pay more. So that's very important. Those things are very important. And then make sure that you have, if you don't know anyone, okay, on the ground where you're going. And at this juncture, I don't think it's difficult for one to get the information, contact information from someone that is there. There are so many of us that have these channels, and so many of us that have made ourselves available to help others transition to the continent. And so you could really just reach out to one of your people, or someone, that you have seen, on YouTube, and reach out and ask them, hey, would you mind? Do you know of anyone that could, that's trustworthy, who can pick me up? So if you cannot, or you do not have a contact on the ground where you're going, just look up what the rideshare services are in that particular land. So if you are going to the Arusha region of Tanzania, then you can use InDriver. Okay. And the cool thing about InDriver, and this was told to me, I didn't know anything about InDriver until a friend of mine, LifeTrod, he has a YouTube channel, so go look him up and subscribe. And follow him on IG. So he told me about this InDriver app. And the cool thing about it is you say how much you want to spend for the particular ride. Now, of course, make sure that it makes sense. Like, don't try to lowball the people, make sure that it makes sense, but you can determine. So, like, say if you're going from the Arusha International Airport and, you're traveling to maybe, I don't know, Njero or somewhere like that. You can say, hey, I'm willing to pay, 60,000 shillings, 70,000 shillings, whatever it is. And then the drivers who agree with that price, they'll start to bid for, for the ride. Okay. So that's the cool thing about InDriver, is that you can set the price that you want to pay. If you are in Dar, of course, they have Uber, and then they have Bolt. Okay. So those are the two major ones if you just don't know anyone. So make sure that you have your transportation set up to take you from the airport to your accommodation. Okay. And I'm sure everyone knows how to pick their accommodation. Of course, Airbnb would be the number one if you're not going to stay in a local hotel and you don't have family or friends that you can stay with. Okay, so now you've gotten yourself from the airport, you've gotten yourself to your accommodation. And often, if you're staying in an airport, the hosts are more than willing and able to guide you from there and give you the information on some of the sites that you want to see. A lot of them provide rides or a car that you can rent. So, from there, it's up to you then, to make the connections and kind of make it the trip and the experience that you want it to be. So those are just some little small pointers, for those who are traveling alone, who have never traveled outside of their home country, but they really want to travel and they just really don't know where to start. That's just, like a few pointers on some of the things that you need to do and know to prepare yourself, and so that your trip can go as smoothly as possible. Also, just knowing where you're going and knowing the customs there, knowing a few of the basic phrases of the language of the land in which you're going in, and some lands don't care if you speak their language, and some do, like Tanzania. It's important for you to know just a bit of the basics of Kiswahili, the greetings of hello, the greetings of, good morning, good afternoon, thank you, you're welcome, where is this? Just basic sentences, okay? Um, what they deem to be disrespectful, things of that nature. So it's also important to kind of to research that as well, and have a good understanding of that. That's what I have. I hope that that helps in your travels. And yeah, that's it, you guys. I just wanted to check in really quickly and let you guys know we're back on American soil, and I don't feel anything like I thought that I would. There's work to do here, and I know that, and we're doing it. And I will keep you all abreast as of the progress. One thing that I was sitting and thinking of was in all of our travels, in all the lands that we have been able to travel to, and just watching other people really travel to various lands, and how we're all enamored, and they're all enamored about, oh my gosh, and look at this beach, and oh, I have never seen such things. And I'm talking about particularly those who are from America, okay, the diaspora from America. And we're so enamored by the beauty of these other places, and to us, oh, nothing else can compare, oh, I've never laid eyes on such beauty, and as if we never had these types of sites available to us. Yeah, I've seen it. And it's nothing wrong with acknowledging the apparent and obvious beauty of each land in which you travel, because, each one has its uniqueness. Okay. However, my goal while I'm here is to rediscover the beauty of America, of the Americas. Okay. We have white sand beaches with aqua colored water. If you go to Destin, Florida, they have it. If you go to the islands here, they have it. Okay. We have that available. The mountains, we have plenty of those available. They have sites where there's still pyramids up here. Those are the lands that I want to go and explore, and the sites that I want to see, because there's just so many treasures that are hidden in this land that I myself have not yet discovered. And so I want to do that while I am here. Um, yeah, just showing the diversity, whether it be in climate, or the aesthetic beauty of the various lands in the Americas. America truly is beautiful. Now, I want nothing to do with the US corporation, but the Americas is also my home. So you guys know that I have roots on both of the continents, and I would say many or most of us do. And so I've told you about my great great grandfather. I've told you about my great great grandmother. So I want to do some time travel, more time travel, while I'm here, and while I have access to the griot of our family. The griot is the one who can who knows about the family history. They know about the bloodlines. They know about the descendancy. They have kept all of these things. Excuse me, throughout the years, and they generally pass it on to someone else before they leave their body. And so I have been bugging my great aunt like for so long to please just pass this information on to me, so that I can do the work and do the time travel and really complete the family tree as much as I possibly can. And I want to go way, way back. And I'm just grateful that we still have her around, because many don't. And many of us, I find, don't take the advantage of sitting at the feet of the elders in our families, the ones that have the family history. It is imperative that you do that. That's the only way you're going to know who you truly are. You have to trace your bloodline. It is not a one size fit all. Everyone who's melanated is not the same. Again, everyone who is melanated is not the same. Okay? So you have to trace your bloodline and find out who you truly are. You have to do the work. Okay, so that's what I plan on doing. Sitting at the feet of my great aunt, who is here in the Americas, and we were on the phone the other night and we talked for hours. And I just the information that I was getting from her about our family history, um, mm, it was so sweet. It really tasted like honey. It was like honey in my mouth. It really was. And some of the information I knew just by doing my own research or by my other great aunt who is passed on. And I remember sitting at her feet when I was a little girl and her telling about how, our matrilineal line, our connection with the Jola people. So, yeah, just deep, deep history there. So, I would encourage you all to do the same. So that's another thing that I'm excited to do while I'm here in the Americas. So I will keep you all abreast and I will keep you all posted. Until next time, please make sure that you continue to do your self work. This shift is so beautiful, but there's also a lot of damage that's going to be done, before this is all done and over with. And so I implore you all to take care of yourself. Okay, take care of yourself, to know thyself. Spend some time with yourself and get rid of people that don't mean you any good. Okay. And so, yeah, that's it. Let me see if anybody has any questions. No, this is supposed to be OMG, shocking. Mahogany, please don't get stuck. I had a dream about you being in Africa, so that's surprising, but family is important. They cut off in California. Okay, I don't know what you mean by they cut off in California. Cut off what? I call it a pandemic. Well, it is. Okay, I won't give my dream away of what country I saw you in. Okay. I believe there's a high percentage of Americans that has not left the US and or don't have a passport. Let me first of all, Penelope, thank you so much, like, for all of your commentary. Thank you. I have to say this, and if you don't know, you should know this by now by watching me. I don't live in fear. I don't. I go where I want to go, when I want to go. Because as I have said before, I am a cosmic citizen. And it seems that many don't know what that means. So I have no boundaries except for the ones that I put up for myself. I have no boundaries except for the ones that I put up myself. So I can't get stuck. There's always a way out for me. Always. That's something that I know. I don't believe it. And of course, we have to be aware all the time, regardless of where we are, not just when we're in the Americas, in what's known as the territory of the corporation called the US, which is being dismantled, by the way, if you don't know that. The land is being returned back to the people. In case you don't know, it's happening. Okay. And so, yeah, I don't live in fear. I'm not going to be stuck anywhere except where I want to be stuck. So I just want to thank you so much, just because I know it came from a place of concern. And I appreciate that, the fact that you were concerned about me. Thank you so much, Penelope. But don't worry, don't worry. I'm just fine. Okay. There is a lot to rediscover. And one thing that I discovered is when I was in my other homeland on the continent of Alkebulan, is that there were so many trials and tribulations and triumphs that I had to overcome there. And of course, I didn't expect it to be a utopia, but those things became exhausting and draining. This is me. I will do a separate video about it. The piece that I did find there when I did a video called I was able to do some healing was the healing that was the environment that I provided for myself in my home, in my compound that I had that was away from town. But the interactions with a lot of the people became very draining. And at the end of the day, there were people that, yes, they called me Dada, but they didn't treat me like their Dada. That I was just a meal ticket to them, or I was their ATM machine. Let me just keep it real. And it became very draining and exhausting. So it was a lot of that. And that is not something that I have been accustomed to while I'm in the this other home of mine in the Americas, in Amexa. I don't deal with that. So it was very draining, that 2 year experience, in trying to really be one with the people, but it never happened. Now I've been able to build some relationships with some of the people there that I cherish and that I know that will be for a lifetime. But it was very few far and in between. And it wasn't all concerning the Native sisters and brothers. It was also the diaspora that were present. There was a lot of toxicity there as well. Okay. And so I had a lot of, draining experiences that I was did not have, when I was here. But that again, it was all a part of the journey. It was all a part of the process. I counted all joy, all of it. And I've become full circle. I never intended to never ever come back to the Americas. This entire planet again is my home. I'm going to say it again. This entire planet is my home. And I understand how this home of mine on this side came to be the way that it is. However, I still honor and cherish the land and the culture that was here from the beginning, and the connection that I have to this land by blood. And I'm always going to have that connection. And I'm never going to, I don't want to ever forsake that connection, and I may have in some way in the past or been misunderstood by my words. And when I traveled to the continent and new information becoming available to me, again, this has all been a journey. That's why it's called Journey Through Alkebulan, and now added Beyond. I am not the same person that I was when I first started this channel. And you should be able to see that very clearly if you go through the videos. And I'm still on my journey. Even now, I'm still becoming. And it's all so beautiful. So they're both my home. both of them, the Americas and Alkebulan, and everywhere in between. It's my home. I'm a cosmic citizen again. So I'm not going to put limitations on where I can go and say, oh, well, I can't go there. Or, oh, I can't ever go back there. I'm not going to do that to myself. That's me putting myself in bondage. And that's me putting that energy in rotation, because my word shall not return unto me void. Life and death is in the power of my tongue. So if I tell myself that, oh, I can't ever go back to America, then that's the type of reality that I'm creating for myself. And I'm not going to do that. It's okay to go to Alkebulan and have your Alkebulan experience. But I would caution you to be very careful about cutting yourself off from your heritage here in America. Don't ever limit yourself. You are a limitless being. Don't ever limit yourself. You are a limitless being. And so the moment that you start thinking to yourself that you can't come back here, or you may say that you don't want to, now that's your choice. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But saying that you can't, it has nothing to do with anybody on the outside of you. That's something that you're creating yourself. So this entire planet is my home, and I'm going to go wherever I want, when I want. Period, point blank. And I would encourage you all to stop putting yourself in bondage and stop limiting yourself. It has to do with you. You're the one doing that and no one else. All right, let me see here. Peace, Life Tribe. Peace and light. Hashim Youssef, wow. Damn, you are courageous. The land returned to the people. Yes, the land will be returned to the people. It is being returned to the people now. That's for you to find out yourself. I can see very clearly because I've done my work. You have to do your work. If the first shall become last, and then the last shall become first, you don't think that the land will be returned back to the people who first inhabited it? Really? Everything comes full cycle and full circle. Everything is cyclic. The land has to be returned back to the people. It has to be returned. It has to be. Yes, we have entities fighting their damnedest to stop it, but they're not going to win. So that's how. History, time travel, go back. There are many ways you can time travel, by the way, okay? So when I say time travel, okay, I'm not talking about getting into some sort of time machine and going back. It's researching your roots, your history. It's researching your bloodline. It's researching the things that have happened in the past, from the ancient times up until now. That's time traveling. And so I say time travel, and it will give you the answer. Things have always gone back and come full circle. Always. So the land is being returned back as we speak. Put your spiritual eye on, you'll be able to see it. Okay? Let me see here. Anybody have anything else to say? Yes, absolutely. Hashem, just Just go back and look and just really look at things past the physical. Look, put the clues and the little pieces together with all the things that are happening, that are going on. There's a lot in symbolism, okay, where the answers are always in front of us, but we don't see it because you don't know how to read the signs and the symbolism. The answers are there. It's actually happening now. There is definitely a different energy in this atmosphere from the time that I left until now. There is. I can feel it very clearly. I felt it when I stepped foot back in on this land. There's a lot of change that has taken place, and more is going to continue to take place until things are set right. And it has to do with all of us doing our work and not expecting something on the outside of ourselves to do it all for us. Now, that's what I have to say at this juncture. So, if no one else has any questions, I bid you the power of knowledge, knowing your ledge, the power of knowing thyself. Okay? I bid you love, the power of love and light. All right, you guys, until next time, you all be good.